Hey guys, thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in, and I've got a review for you. This review is about the Maschine Studio by Native Instruments. So first and foremost, I'm not paid by them. I've been not given anything from them. This is just all my opinion. I hope before I continue that Native Instruments, this is for you guys. I hope you please listen to my review and contact me so I can have a one-on-one chat with you guys. I've been through your support a few times, but I think that if you could please possibly contact me and we could talk about my review. But I just want you guys to know the background before I continue. I recently had my stuff stolen. My whole entire equipment was stolen, and I slowly built this studio back up. It's not what I used to have, but it'll do. And I've been always asked about my equipment. What do you think about this? You have this, what do you think about it? Well, now I'm going to talk to you about it. So I'm just going to inform you that I am a user and I heavily use Native Instruments products such as the MK1, the Micro, and the Studio. So I do have some kind of clout about what I'm doing. So this is not just out of the air. I've been working with this product for more than a year and several other of their products. So this is the review. This is hopefully it's opinionated review, but hopefully it's of a professional review for you because I do use this in a professional settings, and I'm going to talk to you about it. So when you unbox it, you're going to get a power and a USB. So the first feel, my first feel of the hardware, the buttons click. I love that clicky of all the buttons. The pads won't, but the other buttons do click. And if you are familiar with the product, you would feel that the knobs and stuff felt kind of cheap, and the knobs in the MK1 version were bad. They went bad quick, and I'm glad that they fixed that. I have not had any issues with my digital knobs here. The rotary knobs, they're very, I guess you could say, they're very instant. They work right instantaneous with your program here, and it's cool because you can assign things to the knobs, and it's just like any MIDI controller, but it's more in detail because you have the screens. So also what you would notice is that you've got this here. This comes with, and I won't show you guys because I have my serial key in there, this comes with the 2.0 library and the complete selection, which is great. Also, you log in and get the Maschine 2.0 software. If you have a 1.8, then you would probably have to pay to upgrade to 1.8. We'll talk further into the software later. So another thing you noticed, at least I noticed, is that they fixed the USB. They fixed it. Thank you, Native Instruments. I'm so glad you fixed that. The previous versions, you'd have the USB just dangling out there, and a lot of times, if you moved it wrong or something like that, you could break it, or just in general be playing, you got your beat going, and bam, it would say disconnected because it was loose in there. I'm glad you put this little indentation to hold the USB in there. That's great. So another thing I want to let you guys know, I did mention a power cord. This is not powered by USB anymore. It has to have a power supply to it. A lot of people will say that's a big no because they have tons of cable. If you have a studio, you know about cable management and tons of power cables everywhere. That's kind of a big hit, but then again, look at how big this is. This also comes with a little stand, which they didn't have in the previous ones. So pull these bad boys out, go ahead and pull them out, and it sits up. Love that. And then you can work. You can work on that. I love that. When you first glance at it, you could see that you have no options in the pads anymore. That's gone. All your options are on the right-hand side, and this big wheel becomes a major player in the game here for us here. So looking at this hardware, the outside hardware review, coming from previous equipment such as the MK1, this is excellent. Excellent. So I do 3-part reviews. I do bad, needs work, good. I would say this is good. So I would definitely, if you have this is definitely a good hardware. It's definitely, if you're wondering, man, I had the MK1 and I don't know if I can move up. Move up. This is good. So I'm going to move on to how to use the hardware integration with software, but we're just going to be looking on the outside first, okay? Okay, as you can see, I already loaded up this Maschine, and I'm going to go ahead and load up, show you guys how I load up, put this bad boy in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in the power. Go ahead and pop in the USB. Love it. See, it doesn't dangle everywhere. Great job, Native Instruments. Great job. Glad you fixed that. Go ahead and power this bad boy up. Again, this is first try, so I'm just letting you guys know I don't have everything all set up, situated. So this is just me doing a off-the-cuff review, so you understand what I'm doing. So hopefully this is already plugged in. So it's good. It's instant plugged in. So once you plug it in, Maschine knows it's ready. Maschine knows what you got. It's good. Because if you install Maschine, you guys know that you have selections of what kind of controllers you want to plug in. What's cool about this, and I'm using a Mac, folks, you plug this in, it's good to go. You already got your kits and stuff ready. So the feeling of the pads are great. So the workflow essentially is huge key in producing. If you're a producer like me, workflow has to be fluid. Workflow, it needs to be fluid. You need to be able to get around and do what you need to do. I think that's great. I think the interface on the Maschine is great. It works as if you had a MK1. So I want to make note, please make note, Native Instruments, you guys did a great job. Please don't forget that you guys did amazing when it came from coming from an MK1 or MK2 to a studio. There's really hardly no difference in feel. You should know your way around, but now you've got these big buttons to the right here. That's really all that's different. But if you know workflow and you know the product pretty well, this should be instant knowledge. Now, if you're coming from the beginning, this still will work for you. This still will work for you. You just got to work on it. But what's so cool is you have your save button right here. You can save everything right here when you're done. I love that. It's all right here. You don't have to use a keyboard for everything, and you don't have to use a mouse for everything. I think, guys, you did great on that. You also have your tap tempo. Obviously, you know that, but here's the cool thing. I talked about this big button here. Now, this big button, you can go ahead and screen across the, you can move across the screen, and it's very simple. Now, if you hold the tap, this activates your tempo. Hold tap, and then you can move your tempo, which is pretty neat. I love that. I think that's great. And remember how you had to hit Shift, copy, paste? You don't have to do that. You just hit the copy button and the paste button, and you select your notes, hit copy, hit paste, and then obviously you're going to have to leave your marker where you want to paste it to, but you guys should know that. I think that's brilliant. I think that's brilliant. Browsing is the same. You hit that browse button. The wheel will help you move through a lot faster. I like that. I like the wheel there. Again, I'm big on that wheel. I love the fact that you can see your arrangement right here by clicking the arrange button. You can also see your mixes. That's huge. When you want to see your levels of your mixes, you can go to your group, and then you can go to your master. It's all there. Your sampling is right there too. I have to say, sampling on this system is brilliant. You just select your incoming track, or incoming input, which mine is 3/4. You can either choose sync or whatever, but you could choose, I personally don't use sync because I like to have that option open for longer, but you can choose all that right here in the screen, right here in the below here. You could choose all of that. I think that is A+, guys. So on the hardware review, I'm going to go ahead and say it's good. So let's move on to the software part. And the software is very intuitive when it comes to simplicity, very simple. I strongly recommend this software for doing your beats if you're coming from a drum machine. So let's talk about setting up. Obviously, it's the same thing. You have your scene. You could have this with the new latest update, so that you can change the length of your scene now. Awesome. Or you can have an auto scene. And what automatic means is it's going to go off of what you originally had for your pattern. So your pattern would set the length of the scene. The longest note, actually, the longest measure is what's going to set off the pattern. So if you have a 4 drum track or 4 bar drum track, and then you have an 8 bar keyboard or bass, the scene's going to be 8 bars. But you can set to automatic, which is pretty neat. So what we're doing is we're going to go to a song here that I created. Now, to get to your songs is very simple, guys. You know how to do this if you've already worked with the software. Again, I'm really trying to review the studio in hardware and its software all in one. But if you go into the software, you can, instead of having to do file open like you do any other projects, you could just click user, then go to all projects, and you can go into your settings here. So I've got a song that I want to load up here, and I want to talk about workflow issues that I have with the software. So there is a lot of workflow issues that I have with the software, and I really want you guys to understand where I'm coming from as a producer, and many other producers I've talked to have the same problem. So let's talk about these problems here. So first and foremost is arranging is terrible. Arranging, I'll be honest with you, is a headache. It's a nightmare. I hope Native Instruments understands that I'm not knocking them. I'm just trying to be constructive with my criticism. I love what you guys done. I just think that when you look at this arrangement bar, it looks nice, right? But notice how I have all these patterns here. Here's where the problem is I have pattern 2, right? Say pattern 2 is the breakdown 1, right? If I erase this note, say I didn't like this note on just this particular pattern, it affects pattern 2. I don't think that's cool, because in my opinion, a scene should be affected to its scene and everything. I understand the pattern is so that way you can change in throughout the scenes, but my problem is that when you're building constantly and you have a hook, a bridge, intro, outro, you have breakdowns, you have all this, eventually you get confused, you get mixed up. And what happens is if you've gone all the way to the bridge and you've got your hook, intro, and whatnot, and you messed with the pattern, now you have to start all over. I think that's totally wrong with the workflow. I think, again, workflow, it has to be simple, and that affects my workflow huge. It's huge on that end. I hope Native Instruments, instead of creating the scenes, you hit editing the patterns, you hit a scene, and whatever's edited in that pattern, in that scene, only affects that scene, not all the other scenes. So I hope they look into that. So on this track here that I'm playing for you guys, we also have the keys. Now, when we look into the keys here, the issues with the keys is we also have sustain pedal data here. I don't know why my sustain pedal data isn't showing. Normally I would have my sustain pedal data on there. But sustain pedal data has an issue with that. Now I'll go ahead and just talk about it. What happens is if I have a sustain here and a sustain here and a sustain here, and I hit the clear button, it does not clear the sustain. I think that is huge, a huge problem. I think that's a problem that they should look into. I shouldn't have to hit the undo button. I normally have to use undo when I'm writing. When you're starting from scratch and you're writing and you mess up, you have to hit the undo instead of the clear, because it will keep the MIDI data on there. And I think the MIDI data shouldn't be in there when you hit clear. It only clears the notes, folks, just a heads up. It does not clear the data. So if you have modulation, you're like, well, why is it when I play the note I have these modulation weird things happening? Check your MIDI data. I think that might be a problem. I hope they look into that, and also I hope they look into quantization of the sustains and data. I hope you guys give us an option to choose if we want to quantize the data as well, because I don't think that it's, to me personally, I don't like to quantize my sustain. If I want my sustain there, I know I need it there. I just need the notes to kind of be aligned, okay? I hope they fix that. I personally don't know of any software that quantizes the data like that. I hope you guys give us an option to opt out on that kind of thing. Another thing is a sampling. Sampling's amazing. Don't have a problem with it. But what I do have a problem is that import and exporting. We don't have the option to import MIDI now, or MP3. Now, people will say, oh, you just use Wave. That's great and all, but a lot of us producers, when we finish up our arrangement, we want to get going and go to work, or get a daytime job going on, or you got school and you want to listen to what you wrote. I shouldn't have to have Wave, because when you do Wave, I write mines in the highest bit rate that I possibly can, 32. I have a 192, so 192 Wave, and that's again, that's for another story. We can argue how to do that, but when I want to export a demo, I kind of want MP3 because it's low in memory and I can just easily pass it on and share it. You know what I'm saying? Because some things, Wave files don't work when you share it to other people. You have issues where I can't hear it. I think that we should have the option to export as a Wave or MP3 or many other choices. I'm kind of disappointed that this is your flagship, but you have that option for your Sketchpad, but not for your flagship product. I'm not understanding that. Also, importing samples as MP3. A lot of the times we've got to deal with MP3 samples. That's just the way the ball rolls through us in a production stage. And we don't have any other options, but I shouldn't be forced to use Studio One to bounce it, or any bouncing software, encoding software to make it wave. I think that that's a huge issue. And on the sampling issue is, we have our samples, but I hope that you allow us to have real-time stretching to the beat. So if I have a beat that's 94, or a sample, a guitar lick that's 94 beats per minute, but my funky rhythm's at 100 beats, I should be able to stretch that rhythm to a bar to fit 100 beats per minute instead of having to resample. Again, that's that workflow issue I'm talking about. That kind of hinders the workflow issue. Anytime you have that stuttering issue, many producers I've met with have that little stumble where they like want to skip it or just move on, because it's that more work, and as a producer, more work. We want to avoid more work, you know. A lot of us do. Let's be honest. A lot of us want to avoid more work. So I hope you guys take a look into that. The next thing I want to talk about, and I love this fact that you guys did this for us, is you have the ability to give us the keypad, and then we can change what kind of chord structure it is. That's a minor's this chord set in minor, but it's on the 6th variation. Please give us customizable chords. Please give us customizable chords. I think that that'd be awesome that you guys did that. If you're like me, I dwell deep into music theory, and I like to have specific inversions and stuff like that. Sometimes I don't play it well. When I'm producing and I'm on the spot, want to produce, hurry up and get things going, I should be able to customize a chord and hit it. I think you guys should give us that option. Also, I want to talk about your arpeggio. I don't think it's fair that only the the complete has the ability to use arpeggios. I think that should be given to anything that you plug in MIDI should be able to have arpeggios. I think you guys should allow us to have freedom with our arpeggios, because I can't afford to have a complete right now. I have a MIDI keyboard. I'd like to test it out for you guys, but unfortunately I don't have the money for that. So I wish you guys give us the option for arpeggios for other MIDI controllers. Now, another thing that I haven't mentioned that you guys are great on is that you allow other MIDI controllers to operate this system, which is amazing. So folks out there who are watching, that's a plus with this. You can use other MIDI controllers. If you watch my beat remakes, you can see I use a lot of videos, a lot of keyboards. I use my Kronos, I use my Akai, and I use my Novation. So take a look into that, guys. I hope you allow us to have arpeggios on other MIDI devices. The next thing I really want to talk about is your exporting of loops. I've found many issues where I have this song called This DJ that I've written. I didn't write it. I redid it. It's a song by Warren G, This DJ. And my problem with that is that I have a lead synth that's kind of, it lingers around. It's got a huge legato that's headed for, that's kind of like going into the next bar. But my issue is that when I play it, the beginning is not caught in the loop. Now, it is optimized, but the problem is when I have an intro, I don't want optimized loop on, because that means the way you guys run your optimized loops is that anything that ends on the 4th beat that carries on, like a tide carries on to the next measure, it's going to be played in the very beginning. That doesn't sound good. I've played a lot of songs where I'm like, what's that noise in the beginning? It doesn't sound like I remember playing it. And so there's been issues that I've had with exporting your loops. I hope you take a look into give us an option. Instead, again, this affects our workflow. Instead of having to go in there and layer out things, it should have a check mark where it's saying, is this an intro? Is this the beginning of your song ticket? And you guys, we don't have to worry about constantly selecting things and making sure that it's not. Because when you do have a thing where we have it set to range, my biggest issue with range is that range will not only record till the end of the bar that you selected, but it records after. So if you have a hi-hat sizzle, it'll keep going to that sizzle till it hits that gate that you guys have and then cuts. So I could have a sizzle or set it to 8 bar, but if that sizzle breaks through, that sizzle breaks through, then I have to have that recording there, so it's a little more than 8 bars. I hope you fix the range on that. I hope if I say set to 8 measures, there should be like an option. Do you want to set it to 8 measures and include the sound after, or set it 8 measures only and lock after 8 measures? I think that'd be great. Also, I hope you look into when you export sound. So, for example, if I bring in a group, right? And I don't happen to use all the groups right here. So here's all the groups here. I don't happen to use all the groups. If you guys can detect if there's any sound on that channel, can you uncheck that? Have a system where it unchecks it saying there's no sound on that channel. I typically, if you see here, I typically do this. I reset the channel, and I know if it says sound 6 or sound 7, I know there's no sound in there because that's what I had. But sometimes I can mess up, and I think that'd be a great option to implement. I hope you guys take a look into that. So that should really complete my review on the software. I do say that the software needs improvement. It's not good yet, it needs improvement, and that is my opinion on that. Okay, so my conclusion to the Maschine Studio, again, along with the software, I think that it's good, but it needs improvement. I do recommend to all my Akai users, anything like that, please try out this system. If you like the MPC sound, all you have to do is click your track, go to your engine of the sound, and when you go to the engine of the sound, it will tell you, or the group, I'm sorry, it'll tell you if you want to choose whether or not you want to choose standard or MPC 60 or the SP 1200 or something like that. So that's really good. I mean, I felt that the system had a really great groove. Take a look at this groove system that I'm showing you. You have grooves and you have cycles you could select. You could select the MPC styles grooves. So I think that's pretty neat that you guys implemented on that, and I really suggest that you guys buy that. Again, all that I said is opinions, not facts. I'm not paid for by Native Instruments. This is just opinions by me. I have been working with this for more than a year, a little more than a year. I've been with them using their products for a little over 2 years. So I do have some kind of credibility in what I say. I hope you take strong advice for that. And I do hope that Native Instruments reaches out to me so I can have a one-on-one thing, because I try the support. I don't really reach out to you guys in support. To be honest with you, if you say something that seems a bit negative on your support forums, you get a bunch of hate replies. So I hope I can speak to you guys on a one-on-one session about, how we can make the product better. I also want to reach out to you with this note. I feel that with my background, explain losing all my stuff, saving up to get this, $1,000 I spent to get this, and I feel that as a consumer, when you release a jam that's $300, after I paid $1,000 for that, and this jam is supposed to give you customizable chord, better arrangements, but as I expressed on the software, that's not been taken care of. That kind of puts me in doubt of the product and of the company. I think that I have no hate towards the jam. I don't own the product. I haven't tried the product. I would like to, but I feel that when you release that product, and we're still Maschine users are still trying to figure out why we can't have those fixed, but you say, well, we have it fixed, but here's I have to spend $300. I think that's kind of a slap in the face to us. I hope you understand that I don't mean this in any negative fashion or form. I wish I could talk to you guys one-on-one. But I do feel that isn't the way to go for me. It will make me definitely double think about buying another product from you guys, just for the fact that I've seen more updates for the complete control and for the jam than I have seen for the issues that have arrived. And I've tried to make it known through the forums, and I hope you guys take the opportunity to understand that I hope you focus more on the software in the future, and try to help the producers have a better workflow. You have an amazing product. You guys have something very good there, but I hope you don't push us, the consumers, away and the producers away from your product by giving us a jam for $300 when a lot of your users like me don't have $300 just to spend to fix the problems that we would like to see fixed on the software. So with that note, I hope you take that in consideration and contact me. Please, if you guys are watching or anybody watching, please contact me in the description below. I have my information. I thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. I hope you like what I had to say. If you don't like what I had to say, let me know. I mean, again, this is all opinions. Again, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate you guys. I hope I can bring more things to you guys in the future. Again, thank you so much for watching.